All right, so it is spring here, finally, I think, maybe. And one of the things I've been thinking about over the winter is to continue to extend kind of a growing bed in my backyard with the ultimate goal of getting rid of all of the grass in my backyard. There's a variety of ecological reasons for doing that. Another reason is that I don't want to mow my lawn. So I'm a cheapskate at heart, let's put it that way. What part of that process is kind of marking out where that's going to go. And I'll show you what I did last year, and then we'll talk a bit more about what I'm going to do this year. So this is what I made last year. And basically what I did was to mark it off, get the bricks, dig it out, dig all the grass out, and then went and bought a variety of plants. Don't ask me what kind of plants are in here because one of the things about me is that I can remember the names and dates and details of a lot of things. Plants go straight out of my head. Like, I know that's a kind of a pine tree. That's about what I can do plant wise. So I went to a garden place and was like, "Hey, I have this kind of spot and blah blah blah. What kind of plants should I get?" And I bought what they told me, and it worked out because they all lived. I don't know. There's about 30 bricks here, and quite a few bags of mulch. More, probably about 12 is what it ended up being. This is one of the projects I did during the pandemic, was to put a fire pit back in here. That was in 2020 straight up. Then I expanded it by one course of stones in 2021, and then last year I did this whole area here, and it looks really great when it's not frozen and dead like it is now. But soon it will be great. The basic idea is to extend this area completely from here all the way through to the other side, where there's also kind of a side brick thing. And in preparation for that, I was a little less ambitious about it, but then I thought, why not just make it bigger? I basically took all of the little branches and leaves and stuff like that when I cleaned up in the fall and dumped most of them here. I got a compost place around the corner that I use in my backyard. This is all degrassed, so to speak, and then I'll just start. This is an area where it doesn't get a lot of sun, and so the grass doesn't do well here anyway. So it should be pretty easy to take them out. But what I've done, as you can kind of see, is gone through and just kind of measured out 8 feet more or less with a tape measure. And then, I just went through here and marked out 8 feet. Here's another 8 feet. Here's another 8 feet. Here's another 8 feet, all the way to the other side. And so what that does is gives me a line. And before anybody freaks out, this blue stuff is a sugar-based paint. It will fade, but it's not toxic. That's what I'm going to do back here over the coming weeks and months. I approach projects like this kind of like, I don't try to do it all at once. Like, oh, I'm going to do it this weekend. Well, if you can do that, that's great. I don't really do that. That fries my brain. What I tend to do is to tackle things a little bit at a time. So like dig the line out, dig out this line, then start cutting back on the grass that needs to be cut back on. The next week, go get the bricks, put the bricks in, get the weed barrier, put that down, that kind of stuff. And so I'll just kind of keep spelling these out over the next couple weeks, and it'd probably take about 3 weeks to do the whole thing. We'll see what happens. Now, as far as the rest of the lawn goes, I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet, but I think I'm just going to kind of take it like this, gradually getting rid of more and more of the grass. That's kind of the plan. We'll see how it goes. For you, it has just been a couple of seconds, but for me, it's been about a month. I'm ready to kind of return to this backyard project that I've been talking about a little bit. Plan remains the same, and I'm going to just show you kind of where things stand right now. And so I'm going to turn this around. Hold on a second. All right. So today, the fence company came and tore out the old fence that you'll remember was leaning pretty precipitously. And yeah, if you look right there, check that out. Let's see if we can. Yeah, there's a photo bombing rabbit there. Anyway, so they came and tore the fence out, and so I really haven't been able to do anything else until they get done with putting the fence back up, because of course they would stomp all over any plants that I planted in there. What I did do was kind of prepare the way and get some of the bricks that had previously been curving back around to the fence on either side, to get those pulled out of the ground, so that essentially my idea is to I'm going to get my weed eater and blast all this grass, leave some of the ground cover stuff, and then clear all that grass out, churn it up, put some good dirt in it, plant some new stuff, and then I'll put the bricks back and all that kind of thing. Oh, I do have weed barrier too, so I'm going to put that in some spots. So now the next thing that, of course, was needed is that, I'll go over here, is that I needed to get mulch and some dirt and the bricks. And I never buy enough mulch. So I went back and bought a couple more things of mulch and got some dirt. And then I just got all these bricks today. So that's going to be really cool. And we're going to probably, if they come back and do what they said they were going to do, I'll come back and put that fence in tomorrow or the next day. Then we'll be able to start. All right. Well, it was my intention to shoot some video this morning while we worked on this. But like I mentioned in the last one, what we did today is to tear out all the grass, which I will then kind of stir up and compost. I've put in the rocks and the barriers for part of it, and I'm going to finish that, put the brick lining in, starting from there and ending up there. I'll be able to mulch it and start planting stuff. Incidentally, it's very hot and very dry for being this early of the year. But what are you going to do? Plug away and get it done. So that's my plan for the next few days. Okay, so it's about 8:30 at night. What I'm going to do is clear off the rest of the loose grass that was kind of piled up there, plant some things, and then put the bricks in, and then dump all the mulch that I have kind of scattered around. Call it good, and then probably water the hell out of it. So that's the plan for the next hour or two. You can go and get those little kind of like stakes for the weed barrier. But I thought I had a few of those left over. I also had a bag of, when you buy a piece of cheap furniture and it comes with those like little hex bolt things, and you always get like an extra two of them. Well, I had a bag of like 25 of those just from over the years that I kept for, I don't have any idea why. I used those instead, so I didn't have to go buy little stakes. So I just went ahead. Last night I did some more stuff almost into the dark. This morning I got up and I didn't film it, but I put all I planted some more things that I dug up from different parts of the yard, and then mulched it all. And so you can kind of, I'm going to flip it around. You can kind of see, this is a milkweed, I guess. I am absolutely horrible with plant names, but I know that's that because somebody told me that it was last night that knows what they're talking about. So I planted that. That's something that I transplanted from another place. I think that's an iris. don't know for sure, but I think so. Um, this is some kind of ground cover thing that the same guy that gave me the milkweed gave to me. And then a couple other things in here similar. That thing, he seems to be able to grow it very well. I don't know what it is, but he said it would grow in this kind of spot. That's something I transplanted. And then, that ground cover stuff that you see like right here, a lot of people don't like that, but I actually do. So I've planted a couple spots of that in here, and I'll plant some more stuff over time, but it's the end of the month and I don't have the dough right now. So that's the way that goes. So then on the other side, again, I transplanted that. I think that's a hosta. I think maybe. Anyway, that was doing well. And another shady spot over here. This particular spot doesn't get really, except for a few days out of the year, it doesn't get a lot of sun. And so it's a good spot for it. There's another one back there that I moved earlier this year. And then I'm hoping this ground cover stuff just kind of takes over again from where it was before. And then, yeah, mulch, more plants that somebody gave me. Apparently, this thing right here could become a tree if it lives. So we'll see. A couple more iris things that weren't doing so great in a spot over there where they're getting crowded out. Some more ground cover, that which is supposedly ground cover. And honestly, sometimes in the past I've done too much and it got kind of carried away with the density of it. And this might be almost enough. I'll probably be unable to resist planting a few more things in it. But yeah, so this is done. All the bricks are in. I've got a couple more things to plant. I'm not going to do that right now because it's getting hot again. But yeah, so this is done. So all in all, I had help yesterday with thanks Gargi and Maya and Katrina for helping out, and Kenny and Ken and Nikki for throwing some plants my way. So it was kind of like I didn't spend a whole ton of money. The bricks themselves, they were like $1.50 a piece. The mulch is like $3 or $4 a bag. I got some ground, some topsoil and some potting soil, which kind of helps things get a start. Maybe this whole thing cost me, I don't know, $250, something like that. And yeah, so not bad. And I got a lot of free plants and moved some stuff from my other part of the yard where they weren't doing as well as they could. It's been about 3 months now, 2.5, since finished up this planting bed, and I thought I would pop back for this last little bit of it and kind of show you where it is now. So I'm going to turn this around. Here's where we are, and this stuff is all filled in. Just this is from the side of it that I did last year. So right now it's in the middle of summer, and everything is really doing great on this side. It's been very hot and very dry, but recently it's started to rain again, so it's been great. This side, obviously is what we finished up a couple months back, and everything's really kind of coming along. I've planted several things like this milkweed and other things that have plant names. I'm terrible with plant names, as I mentioned, but everything's in and growing, and like you can see it doing stuff, and so I take that to be a positive. This side is also doing well. That kind of ground cover stuff has recovered from being thrashed around, and some of these ground cover plants are starting to take over a little bit, and I suspect they'll continue to do better. All this stuff has been planted more recently. One thing of particular note is this thing, which apparently will be a tree. One of my friends gave that to me, and it has survived being moved from his yard and seems to be doing great, and it's growing. So that's a good thing. And the other stuff is, coming along. I mean, some of it's a little rattier than others, but next year this time you'll be able to see what it looks like, um, which would hopefully be something like what that does over there. And then I'll figure out something else to do back here. Thank y'all for sticking with me on this video. And, I know that you're taking time out of your day to look at this stuff. And I really appreciate you walking along with me on these. And if you like it, hit the button, and all the rest of it. Comments on what I could do next year would be welcome also. Thanks.